Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is Gage.
Got your boy D.
And Sean.
This is an off-the-cuff review. Today we watched The Substance, directed by Coralie Fargeat, released in 2023. And yeah, that's just about as much as we know about this one. We went into this one pretty blind.
I kind of wish I was blind.
So, D, what, without spoiling too much first, what was your initial reaction to the trailer when we first saw the trailer?
Okay, with the trailer, no. Like we just seen, it was a very interesting film, but the trailer didn't really break down what really was going to happen.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
for sure.
It was a fucking freaking attention catcher.
It snatches you, for sure.
Yeah.
Sean, what was your reaction immediately?
I mean, the only thing it really showed was maybe the serum itself in the trailer, and other than that, it was
Which
not
I
really
was
any
saying
direct connection.
reminded me a lot of the reagent from Reanimator.
Indeed.
It was just the glow stick juice kind of looking shit.
Yeah, it's really glowing.
Yeah, for sure. So it opens up with that egg in the syringe, getting hit with the syringe and then splitting, which I think really is a really cool way to introduce this movie, especially after seeing it and understanding what it symbolizes. I think there was a lot of symbolism.
Definitely a lot of symbolism.
Yeah.
And you notice when it split into the other half, that one egg wasn't as perfect as the other.
Yeah, and
It's still in the same egg white as well.
And it's still in the same egg white, yeah. And one thing now that I'm thinking about after seeing that, the way that the second one came out of the first one is very foreshadowing.
Oh, for sure.
Very foreshadowing. The very specific way it kind of, which I didn't think about until just now.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but very interesting stuff. So overall opinion before we delve too far into this, Sean, what was your opinion on this movie?
Definitely extremely suspenseful, and it definitely very gradual up until the very end, until in extreme chaos towards the end.
I agree. How about you, D?
Oh man, just amazing.
Yeah.
I like the colors from just everything they did.
This is kind of your and mine bag. You know, you and me have very similar tastes in movies, and this one hit the nail on the head.
The camera shots.
The visual color aspects of everything.
Yeah, the production value was really great. There's certain fisheye lens scenes that they had, like the one of Dennis Quaid taking a piss in the bathroom. At the beginning, I was like, what a fucking weird shot, you know? Yeah, dude, he was going, man, for a while. He held a whole conversation with it. I was like, Jesus. Very interesting close-ups. It reminded me of an Edgar Wright film, you know, like Hot Fuzz and Scott Pilgrim, Shaun of the Dead, At World's End. Just the way it was edited. It was quick edits, quick cut, felt like very on beat, very rhythmic, really interesting. It would go from a close up to a different perspective. Right off the bat, right after that egg scene, at the very beginning, the shot of the star, her Hollywood, your Walk of Fame star with the time lapse, and showing the different people going over it, putting cracks over it. People from different generations, you could tell it's 80s clothes, 90s clothes, and stuff like that. And then the burger falling on it, which of course,
so much symbolism.
Very much so.
And I will not be eating ketchup again. No more ketchup.
There's a lot of gross out parts in this movie. A lot of very weird cooking montage that I didn't expect.
Yeah. A lot of faces on backs, you know what I'm saying?
Oh my god.
A lot of faces on backs, you know. You'll see what I mean when
For
you watch
sure.
this movie.
So let's explain a little bit what the substance itself is, right? So the substance itself, like I said, it looks kind of like reagent, but it creates a second version of you. That's basically you. I'm guessing from your own DNA.
Yeah,
You know?
like I guess the perfect version you think of yourself.
Yeah. Oh, maybe. Or I think maybe it activates more perfect parts of your DNA.
Well, and being part of the bone marrow aspect of it makes it like also linked with stem cell type stuff.
Something
as
like
well.
that. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, with the spinal fluid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something along those lines. So I was thinking going into it that she would like. It is definitely kind of a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde story, somewhat. But I thought it would be more like she transforms into this more beautiful woman. It's
It's definitely a clone, though.
by the way, played by Demi Moore, still super beautiful, and then the younger version or other version, I guess, Margaret Qualley, super smoke show as well.
Oh my god.
And
Sue.
yeah, there's half of this movie was tits and ass, which I can't complain about. Which is pretty awesome.
Ass and titties.
But
And
so-
lubrication.
I thought that she would turn into Margaret Qualley. Just like, I don't know, like a body melt transform into her,
Right.
sort of.
Like a Beauty and the Beast type.
So, yeah, something like that. But the way they did it caught me off guard with her, like, fucking spine splitting open.
Yo.
Holy shit, the body horror in this. It's a great body horror movie if you like stuff like The Thing, The Fly, Society.
And even though it was all gross and like gruesome and with the black back splitting, it still had so much symbolism, like with the way that the eyes split. in
Yeah.
the eyeball.
That
You
got
could
me.
see
The eyeball
cellular-
fighting with the other
Yeah,
eyeball
yeah,
for a
like-
second was like, ooh.
I'm like,
Oh.
contact's gonna be very expensive for her. That's all I'm saying. God.
Yeah, there's a lot of another thing I always love too, especially in modern movies, because you don't see it as often as you used to, of course. The practical effects. So many good practical effects.
Yeah, for sure.
The fucking bodysuit or whatever at the end. Holy
Whoa.
fuck.
I mean, the finger, her leg.
Oh yeah,
there's
the fucking arm coming out of
Oh.
the back.
Oh my god. It was a full, like, Statue of Liberty thing going on.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But it's not standing for truth and hope, I tell you that.
Oh my gosh, that was pretty brutal. I did like that. There was a bit of CG, of course. You know, you can't go without CG nowadays. But I think they did it tastefully and not
Yeah.
too much.
It
Like
wasn't
the
too
little
noticeable.
blob.
Yeah, it wasn't too noticeable, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
And definitely suspenseful.
Yeah.
Definitely suspenseful. It kept me guessing like throughout the whole time. Like going back to the transformation itself, the first one, her coming out of herself and then having to sew her spine back together. One question I kept asking you guys too, because I wasn't sure all throughout this movie, like if she was just the same consciousness being transferred into another body, or if it was exactly more like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, where it's two different personalities.
I think the serum
Well,
had, like, more substance than we actually thought.
Hmm.
It could have different traits.
So,
Because that's why it was delivered particularly to that one box. Then, you know, the dude in the first beginning
you think-
was checking the spine.
they specifically engineered personality traits.
Yeah, because the dude said in the beginning, you'll be perfect. So,
Well, I think-
and she was in a car accident, so there's a lot of DNA you can possibly get.
I think when he saw that, when he was checking out her spine, he was making sure that she could safely have a person pop out of her spine. You know,
maybe you're like scoliosis or something.
that's a
Something.
You can't do stem cell if you have like.
She did go through a car wreck, though.
yeah, but they did say that she got out perfect. She was all good.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because
And
like
because how that car...
ain't nobody fucking getting out of a crash like that.
And why would
Perfect.
the other perfect person be at the doctor's office that one doctor's office.
Mm.
And when,
I mean,
like,
it's definitely all circumstantial.
I think
with
they're-
the doctor. I don't think it's like
A lot of that stuff they could set up for a sequel.
Yeah.
Where does the
Or
substance
she-
come from? Who's the organization that does it? Is that guy, I don't think that guy created it because he's not the guy on the phone. Of course, is he like working with them, or was he part of the experiment? Well,
Yep.
or is he just a customer and he was like, oh, here, I get 25% off coupon if I recommend.
That's one hell of a coupon.
Oh my gosh!
Gosh, she
More
definitely got
food taste.
Yeah, like she definitely got 20% off. I got 20% of my brain gone now after that. Oh my god.
Going back to what you were saying about the consciousness, I definitely think that it was a single-minded consciousness, because in every moment that they were separated, whenever they went back to each other, they knew about the experiences that they were doing.
Not
before.
exactly.
No, they didn't.
No,
Like, it
not
wasn't
really.
full memory, but
She's
they
in it-
still...
Oh, continue.
But they still, like... She still knew that she took an extra day as soon as she woke up. And
Mhm.
she still knew that...
No, I don't think she did know that she took an extra day. Not until she saw the little capsules.
Mm-hmm.
And she saw that her finger was fucked. Yeah, right. Margaret Qualley was surprised by her fucking food fight when she woke up and like she fucking had
And that happened, like...
put shit all fucking newspaper all over the windows. Demi Moore didn't remember the interview or all the other stuff she was doing, and it's never specifically spelled out like how that works. But I think you're led to believe that it is two separate consciousness, two separate personalities, fighting over one. Not necessarily consciousness,
will.
but life, I guess.
Yeah, I kind of think it's like, when you get like she was like the older version of herself, she got kind of down on her luck and kind of missed like the stardom, the youthfulness, and all that. And I think it's kind of like a mental thing too, as far as like you get so caught up into what you used to be, you kind of lose conscious of what you are now.
Well,
What
she
you
also
can
felt
do.
that the future that she had wasn't enough because she hadn't fulfilled that dream in the globe or whatever.
Well, even towards the point where she was trying to terminate the other her, she was all like, oh, we have a big day today and stuff like that. So it's like she still had some basic understanding that is her and she wants success.
Like she
And
used to have.
they kept stressing the remember you are one.
Right.
Yeah.
And every time she'd call and be like, oh, she's fucking up my life. And it's like, remember, there is no she. You're both the same person.
Which you pointed out would be like exactly what they want you to think because you're not.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that it is a clone, I definitely think it's fully a clone in the sense that the cellular splitting, so it is completely another object.
It's like a clone made from different parts of your DNA, like,
But then in that
hereditary
sense,
and stuff.
It would be the substance that allows them to share the consciousness in between the weeks and all that stuff. But it would still be then two separate people
Interesting.
activating said conscious.
And like when they when she first seen the substance commercial, and the guy started off like, imagine a perfect you.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like maybe the substance is pulling from like your brain, like what you think is perfect, what you think would be like the perfect person.
What I saw it as was it's pulling from your DNA, from your genes,
of course,
In the
yeah.
but
video, it
pulling
directly
the
says
most
that,
perfect parts of your genes.
Yeah.
And
you
what
know.
you think was the most perfect.
Well,
So
but it's like
she was feeling on herself, the older version.
Well, I feel like it's like for DNA, down generations, you still have parts of your DNA that aren't revealed in you, but they skip generations or they go to your children and stuff like that.
Well, not to get like sciencey, but your DNA has two sides, and it's the old version that was the originated DNA, and then the newer version that's constantly recreating itself. And all you have to do is change the code from an AAB.
I think
to
we're
an AAT.
way the fuck above our heads
I
to
know.
even try to comprehend any of that.
I don't really
But-
think it's like okay, it got science to it. I really
Yeah.
think it's just.
But that's
like
not the
psyche.
point, really. Of
Right.
course.
Right.
I think they were vague about that on purpose, or they might explain it in a sequel if they want to do a sequel. But I think this stands alone great. I think it's pretty amazing.
It doesn't really need
It doesn't.
science. For it to
If they
be
do
this-
put
this
do a
suspense.
sequel, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. If they do a sequel, I think they should focus on who created the substance, or
The
something
first
like that,
person to use it.
or maybe something like that. I don't know.
And it'd be awesome if they use them like a man perspective.
Yeah.
Because it was definitely female oriented.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
I don't think so, but like if you use
It
a
was
male for the
focusing
second one, it's
a
kind of
lot on
like
female figure.
Well, of
in a
course,
sense.
one of the main subtexts was about the society's standards and expectations from not necessarily just women, but especially women in the entertainment industry.
But not necessarily the notion on like all of them, but specifically on what it's like
Yeah.
personally for one person.
Well-
Because I mean, it does necessarily focus on the singular value of it.
And I do also think it was a very vital scene when the guy was, when she was making the other room,
Mhm.
and the dude was being on, what was you doing over there? And he seen this beautiful, like, how a beautiful woman can just
Yeah.
change.
Change his attitude.
yeah, change the
And
attitude.
there's a lot of that throughout this
And
film.
how the older woman affects the boss and vice versa.
It is a
Yeah.
theme that I've seen in countless movies. Going back to like the 60s, there's a movie I think of called The Wasp Woman. Not a good movie. Not a good
It
movie.
was a stinger.
It kind of fucking sucked. But
It was a stinger.
so like the poster of it shows like this giant wasp with a woman's face, but in it it's a woman with like a wasp mask on it. Not a good film, but basically it's like a woman who's in the beauty industry, but she's getting older, and so she discovers this ointment that's supposed to make her young. But it's extracted from like wasps, if I remember right. It's been a long time
That
since
sounds
I've
like
seen it.
Catwoman. The villain on Catwoman.
Oh yeah, for sure. Or she's all rock hard. But
I mean, or the American Horror Story.
But, like-
the blood.
they fucking after she uses this ointment, she walks in and looks exactly the same, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, you look younger." I'm like, "She looks the same."
Yeah.
I don't get it. This is like just an entirely different person though.
Mhm.
But it's a lot like the same, like that, like The Fly too. Not just like it has similarities to both of The Flies. I feel like the 80s one, the Cronenberg one with what's his name? Dude from Jurassic Park. I can't think of his name right now.
The first one?
Yeah, the first.
Pretty much the hero.
The main dude?
Yeah, the dude all.
Oh, fuck.
You guys know who I'm talking
Oh.
about.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I'm seeing his face right now. I just
The-
can't think of the name.
These are
Yeah,
twins.
Jeff Goldblum, by the way. That's
Oh yeah, Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum. So it has similarities to both The Flies. The 80s one with Jeff Goldblum and the original 50s one with Vincent Price. The 80s one in the way that it has a lot of body horror in it, a lot of crazy, his fucking teeth fall out, which I hate.
The
Teeth thing is that's my one thing in
needles
horror
are
movies.
wicked.
And-
When teeth fall out, I'm like, ah!
And it was a scene in this. It was very close.
Yeah, it was intense. I wasn't ready for that. I was like, holy fuck.
Root canal at its finest.
Both their ears fall off and stuff like that. So it has a lot of body horror, like the Cronenberg Fly, but it has a lot to do with the 50s Fly as well, where it's more of the drama of the whole situation, where this man is turning half of him has turned into a fly, and he needs to find the fly because it has half of him on it, but he can't find the fly. It's more of an existential kind of thing.
Yeah, personal.
So this has a lot of both of those in that. I feel like
Kind of bugged me out a little bit.
dude. So you've seen this in so many movies, I'm sure, where there's like a fly that's caught in a fucking spider web, and he goes, "Help me! Help me!" Beetlejuice, The Emperor's New Groove. That's from the original The Fly.
They had a fly moment in this with in the cup when he's doing the
Yes,
shrimp
that was
scene.
more of the symbolism, those close-ups.
That's how she was
with
feeling. I feel like she was
a drowning fly.
Yeah, fly dead in the water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, very interesting. I'd like to discuss some of the. Well, there's a couple more things I'd like to discuss. One thing that I thought stood out, besides all of them, not getting along, even though they can't like communicate, but the part where she tries to terminate herself, and then they both are conscious at the same time.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And then they don't even speak.
At all.
It's just violence immediately. She's just
And
fighting
on
her.
the Younger's part too.
Yeah.
She immediately snaps.
Mm-hmm. Which you think that Demi Moore's self would have been like, okay, this bitch is gonna fucking kill me,
But at the same
She
time,
gave her a front
with-
kick and she flew.
Thank you. Yeah, that was insane.
I thought the substance
at
was
the
a
same
super
time,
soldier.
the older Demi Moore was moving way faster than she should have been.
Yeah, like for real.
Yeah. She
Like,
should have been
way
falling
more.
apart.
She couldn't even barely pop her.
She turned
knee.
into like the
She-
hunchback.
She ran down that hallway with the younger bitch
I thought she was
chasing her full speed.
I thought she was about to run on all fours.
She fucking ran to the fucking the drop box like
Yeah.
that. Look, all granny dressed up.
Yeah, the way she ran down the stairs.
Oh my gosh.
Immediately.
I thought she was
like,
gonna start parkouring. That's what I
Like,
thought.
for real.
That's the second movie we
and that
watched.
was right before the Golem moment where
Yes.
she's pushing the picture and can barely walk.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of crazy. I expected her like legs to break before that. That's the second movie that we watched recently with crazy, disgusting, saggy old lady titties.
Oh. Oh my god.
The other one
Don't remind me.
being Barbarian.
Oh god. Very barbaric.
But this one was way more shocking.
Oh my god.
Even though you kind of saw it coming, they were way more. There was more of the fucked up, and then like
And
near
the
the
titties
end,
was a little longer than.
she looked like a hag raven from Skyrim. I was like, oh my
God.
fucking god. So the way the substance works is they extract. I guess they extract another body out of you, but that person can only last for about 7 days. Then you have to switch back to your old self with this little like IV drip that looks like it just switches blood. All 7 days that you are the other self, you have to take a shot of spinal fluid from the original version of you. And you can't go over 7 days, or else you'll start to, I guess, fall apart. She's kept getting nosebleeds.
And also the food.
Oh yeah, they hook you up with like a food IV as well. You have to hook yourself up with the food IV, so you're still alive. Your body is still alive.
I love that strict regimen was in the symbolism in the fact that the cards were so simple.
Mhm.
They were basic rules. It was just activate, stabilize, switch.
And it was in
It
bold.
gave you the days, and that was it.
Yeah.
But it was still so strict and so like you had to go by that, even though it was still so simple of rules.
Yeah, and I find it crazy that like the person Demi Moore, she herself wasn't disobeying the rules. The younger version of herself, Margaret Qualley, was the one being like,
Almost
"Hey, I don't."
immediately.
Yeah, almost immediately. She's like, "Oh, I just want one more day," which is kind of crazy.
For some
So it should come with some fine print warning: your other self might rebel against you and turn you into a hag raven.
Well, and she found that out pretty soon too, with the older guy basically coming to her, being like, "Look, this is what you're gonna look like when he takes, or the other side takes all of your fucking life."
And think about it, young people. They don't know how to be patient. They don't try to go by the rules.
Exactly, which is another reason why I think it's her own separate conscious, like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, because she has like a young woman's personality, young woman's mentality. Like, oh yeah, I'll just take a little bit more of your spinal fluid from this disgusting, oozing fucking whale blowhole that I made in your back.
Yeah,
And,
start
well,
licking
and
pussy.
like the,
Oh.
the older woman was like, "I'll just make you ugly," whereas she was like, "I'm gonna kill you."
Yeah, so the more that she takes spinal fluid from her, the more disgusting and old the original version gets, without being able to switch back and recharge. So
Which, for context, is the stabilizer that she has to do every day, only during the 7-day period as the younger self.
yeah,
Because the older self doesn't need the stabilization. But that's kind of where I think that the conscious draws from some sort of singularity, because the main host, which they called it the matrix, is the center point. So even if like it's the cellular division creates two consciousnesses, it's still like a linked
So are you
form
thinking
of it.
that the Margaret
The
Qualley
substance
version?
itself is what connects them.
Well, so are you thinking that the Margaret Qualley version is a version of her younger personality?
Not necessarily younger, but like because it's cellular division, it's still a complete copy of herself.
But she has different priorities.
But it's the substance that allows the link of the consciousnesses still being separate, but because of the substance, there's one. And then when they put the black juice in to terminate, it's black versus green, which then cuts off the substance and allows the two consciousnesses to be separate. Which is then when she kicks her ass.
Maybe. I think so. I was about to say I don't think so. I think that was to stop her heart. But you might have a good point. That might be why she woke up in the middle of that.
The black color, because everything in this was so colorful.
So vibrant, yeah, for sure.
The darkness, the
red in
opposite
the bathroom.
color, not being neon, it has a symbolism to it. Being like an anti-version of the substance that they're putting in to end it.
And have you noticed, like, soon as she turned to, like, the younger version of herself, she adapted to their world so easily?
Yeah, like she already knew, so she might have had, like, her old memories or something like that.
Yeah, but, her old memories is back in the 80s.
Well, but when she first
Yeah.
does
Yeah, but,
substance,
with this world, compared to the 80s, like, she went right into twerking.
Like you're right.
Like,
interesting.
She caught on real quick.
She's still old in that time period, though, so she'll live through all of it up until that time. So she still is aware of what's going on then, just is old and not able to do those things.
But when she
with the newer body able to do those things, she immediately goes and
in
does
this day and
those
age of
things.
Facebook, old people know all the fucking
but this is a vital point, too. It's just,
And,
like,
well,
she's been on
and
that
not to
subject.
get away from it, just because of the memory thing that you were saying, as soon as she takes the substance, she like sees the split, and then there's that flash of lights where she starts hearing moaning, screaming, and then hearing herself go through things.
The first
I
time
believe
she switched
that's
back,
the memories.
it was like a
being
split through the
split
tunnel.
into both bodies.
Yeah, I kind of looked at, like, when she was older and she was doing the dance classes, she was doing a lot of old moves.
Well, and at the end, the interview, she says, like, memories from the old person's life. She's like, I did this when I was a kid and watched this with my mom. And she
Could have
goes,
just been lies.
but, like, she was mocking it because she knew it, too.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what I thought.
Huh.
The memories are definitely shared, but it's the conscious that's been split.
For sure. And it's crazy because they stayed very vague about that. Even they had a couple chances to really go more in depth with it, especially when they both were awake and conscious at the same time. But I thought it was an interesting idea because you would expect them to be like, oh, why would you do this, yada, 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 yada. Oh, they just fucking
Snapped.
That's all.
Which definitely fed for more of the suspense and the vagueness and left it like how they wanted it, where it was just like for you to figure it out.
Yeah, for sure. I thought all that was really interesting. There was a lot of dichotomy within everything, which I guess was sort of the point, fighting with yourself, fighting with your consciousness, fighting with what you want and what you need, but all of that under a subtext of Cronenberg body horror video drone
with
esque kind of
with
shit.
booty bouncing everywhere.
With so much ass and titties. There's like an insane amount of tits in this. And then there's like the lecherous weird corporation people like Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, he was
eating the shrimp.
I've never seen him act like that.
Phenomenal role. I thought he did great as just a fucking disgusting, creepy production dude. Like, oh man, he's eating those shrimp and it's just all over the place and
Like,
he's just
I was
gross.
kind of
Unsettling, right?
unsettling because I've never seen him act like that.
Yeah, man.
I'm like, you just seen another ram of his acting. Like, I'm like, oh, I didn't know he can play a role like this.
Yeah,
Like,
I feel like he has done like certain roles that are sort of similar. I can't
He's
think
like
of any
almost
offhand.
always like the dad in
Or,
like a family.
I mean, he's the president too.
yeah, or, like the wholesome character.
like he'd be like Superman's dad or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's very Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
Well, he's nothing like his fucking
Is it in?
his brother Randy Quaid.
Is it
Oh my god,
Independence Day?
that's his brother Randy
Okay.
Quaid.
Yeah.
Yeah, his brother's a crazy
What's
person
the
now.
movie that he's the president in?
Air Force One.
Air Force One.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one. No, it's not.
No, that's. Oh wait, you know what? I might be getting that mixed up. I think that is Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
Is it?
I think that's Harrison Ford.
He is a president. In
Yeah, oh yeah, like I think he's been the
For
president
sure.
about like at least 2 times.
Yeah, I know it's Harrison Ford because he's like, "Get off my
Yeah.
burn."
Here, I'll leave it.
But yeah, Dennis Quaid, he was great in this. Everyone was great in this. Demi Moore was really good in this. I think Marty
Yeah.
Qualley was fantastic as
Great
well.
acting. Great acting.
All of the body horror, the special effects
Oof.
were incredible. They had me skeeving, just like, ugh, my skin crawling. I think the soundtrack and the overall sound design, fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Really, really well done. There are certain parts where I'm all like, that's such an interesting sound to use right here. There's the when she's pulling the reagent looking shit out into the syringe. There's this very interesting dissonant violin going on.
Yeah, a couple different times. Yeah.
Near the end, when she's falling apart, it sounded like one of those not a slinky, but one of those plastic like things that open up like.
Oh yeah.
It sounded
yeah.
just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
someone's
yeah.
opening one of those up
Yeah.
like really slowly, which I found interesting. Overall, the soundtrack was.
What was
Yeah.
that song that
They used 2001: A Space Odyssey for the reveal, which I thought was fucking amazing. That was fucking hilarious. Perfect.
She super glued her old face.
Okay, yeah. Let's get into that whole scene.
So after they start fighting, she beats up the other chick.
Yes.
She goes back out,
Mhm.
starts to do the New Year's Day thing, and then she starts falling apart, like we were talking
Which is
about.
the
with
teeth
ear.
part that
The
always gets me. The teeth are falling out, and I'm like, no.
Oh my god.
No.
Then she started pulling them out. Like, oh my
Yep.
gosh.
Her fucking ear falls off.
And that's an earful.
And then she starts rushing back to the hotel, or to her apartment, and then trying to find the last little bit of what was left of the substance.
I didn't know she had
Where
any
it then
left.
it gave the
Yeah,
warning.
me neither.
It definitely looked like she absorbed it all. Into
Yeah,
her.
like yeah.
But it shows her like have a memory of it and then like immediately run for it.
Yeah.
And then it's like can only be used once, do not use twice.
Which they keep flashing. One time use.
And then they
you know.
showed the memory split scene again with the lights, which I swear
Yeah.
it has to be like the DNA
And
or
the eyeball
memory.
thing as well.
And they more eyeballs, not two.
And don't mean to cut you off. And have you noticed, like, when she was having like the hallucinations and she would wake up in the other body?
Yeah, she had a bunch
It
of
stopped
dreams.
for
The
a minute,
fucking
stop.
chicken. Oh.
It stopped for a minute. It stopped after that. Like it was only like 2.
Those
right?
were all during periods when
Yeah, I
she was
think it was like 2 or
pushing
3.
after a week.
Was
Because the
it?
chicken bone happened after the first day thing.
So imagine if you went
And
3 months.
And then
so,
after she absorbed all of the crap is when she had the butt cheek thing.
The chicken bone.
And then pulled out the whole
Yep.
chicken bone.
yeah, they had meat on it. Like, damn.
It was like a full on fucking chicken.
But it was progressed
Split
because
full
of the
on
amount
deep
of
throat,
like it was like more gruesome because it was more time that she was drawing from.
Mm.
So the hallucin like could a whole
After she
And
gets
there was a solution.
the last little bit of the story,
I don't think so.
she goes all Cronenberg.
Yeah, she gets all Cronenberg, which I thought was fucking wild. I did not expect that. Because the way they did it was fucking amazing. I kind of expected, I was like, oh, she kind of fucked herself up.
And she kind of did it.
But how crazy she looked, I did not expect it to be that insane. Yeah, like the way it's like from first person, you see Margaret Qualley's body, and she's all like, oh, and then they slowly like dip up to the mirror and show you a glimpse of it for a second.
Whoa!
There's another
Because she
glimpse.
can't even stand up straight.
Yeah, I thought that was fucking phenomenal. The whole
Well, in the minute you see
All of
see
it.
her stand up, you get like a corner glimpse of the second face before you even
Yes.
actually
And
see
the
it.
face is just like,
And then,
Just-
and then she
on the
turns
back.
around and there's an arm, and then you see the full face on the back.
insane
Oh my
effects.
Yeah.
Really, really good. Mostly practical. I think there was a little CG, of course, because
No, but it's definitely
the
some
face
kind
on the
of
shoulder.
suit. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like the
Yeah, it was
person,
definitely
like,
someone in a suit.
crawling around,
Which
and
I
shit.
always give extra points for. If you find a way to put good practical effects into a film, because they could have gone all CG with this, and I am very glad they didn't, because it looked fucking gruesome.
Yeah.
It looked like some screaming Mad George kind of shit from like Society or The Guyver or some shit like that. It looked a lot like I don't know if you guys have seen The Beyond. It's directed by the same guy that directed Reanimator, Stuart Gordon Green. A lot like that, just messy body horror, which I think is great. Very Lovecraftian.
and why I think like kind of like the last part of it was a hallucination because like it's so many like things I was looking at like
Well, it shows
No,
her
no.
hallucinating within that. Like, she hallucinates people down the hallway when she's going down the hallway.
With
Yeah.
all the blood.
and when she would find herself
So much fucking
Oh my
blood.
god.
and when she would find herself
She was fucking Superman.
they were making a lot of noise. The dude, the neighbor, did not hear that, but he could hear her
Well,
doing some other shit.
okay, but in that dude's defense, 5 seconds ago, he saw this crazy hunchback chick crawl out of the
Shut up, my God!
and yell, "Shut the fuck up" at him.
Yeah, but she had
Like, I wouldn't
she had
come out of
her
my
face
door
covered
for
and
like
stuff.
at least 24 more hours.
I thought that was fucking great.
Yeah, she was
Just
like,
shut up, fuck up! And he's like, oh.
All right, well,
Yeah,
Oh my
like-
gosh.
I'll see you next week.
Go fuck myself, I
like
guess.
she don't have eyes is in the apartment now. Like, whoa. And another thing, like, at the end when she was like, trying to talk to the people, then they started doing like this old school, like, 1800. This is a monster! You a monster!
Yeah, that
you
was
a monster!
weird.
They was pushing
Shoot
her out.
it! Shoot it! Yeah.
But there was so much symbolism in that blood moment, though, because like the blood on like
There was
the
a
focus-
lot of blood. She would have.
But it was all on butts. It was on the people's faces that were watching.
Yeah.
It was on the main dude. Like there was
Oh
symbolism.
yeah, fucking Dennis Quaid just sitting there like, oh God.
And just taking
Oh,
it.
no.
You know,
Yeah,
just
like-
taking it.
There's tits all over the place, but there's a little girl in the audience. So like,
Yeah,
what the
right.
fuck?
The way they're like smearing it with blood, though, to kind of show that it's like
And it just came,
that. Those are the bad parts
and the
of
titty
that
fell out her
moment.
face.
Oh!
Dude, it
You
wasn't
see a lot
just
of
her
titties?
face; it was her eye socket. There
It
was
just
a-
went bloop.
She had an areola for an eyeball.
the whole tit was the eyeball.
Yeah, and
There's an ocular titty.
it's like a sperm titty. So yeah, like the little
That's a little
tail.
entrail.
Yeah,
Like,
What's
oh
it
my
called?
God.
It had an umbilical cord.
Ugh.
It was like an egg.
She was
sac titty.
birthing a titty. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that was the part that caught me off guard. Was that whole ending scene? I wasn't ready for
I
it.
mean-
I did expect some crazy stuff in this film, but I didn't expect any body horror like that. You know?
And I mean, as soon as it happened, we paused, saw there was still 30 minutes left in the fucking movie.
Yeah, and like
We're,
the movie's
blown
still not
away.
over.
Yeah.
Blown away.
Then when she put on the dress back, she
Yeah,
had,
fucking
this
tits popping out.
one, she had this leprechaun titty just sitting right here.
It's like,
The chick's face just like pressed. to the
Yeah.
She
back.
fucking glued her like the Demi Moore face on.
And put lipstick on the Oh my god.
Holy
And what was her name? Monster,
Oh yeah, it stopped and it said Monstro Elizasu.
Yeah.
Monstro Elizasu. Like
It
what?
sounded like a Harry Potter spell. Like,
Yes.
Holy shit, yeah.
oh, that's one spell he don't need to do on me.
Fucking crazy.
Oh my god.
This is definitely down our alley. Some of my favorite movies are Dead Alive. Very, very. If you're into that, I highly recommend this. If you're into like body horror, something like The Color Out of Space with Nicolas Cage, old school Cronenberg movies, The Fly, Videodrome, stuff like that. Reanimator, yeah, Reanimator to a point. I think Reanimator is more of. That's one of my favorite movies too, but this is way more. Oh yeah, oh don't worry, we're gonna cover that one someday. We're definitely gonna cover that one someday. But I thought this was really fun all the way,
For sure.
from start to finish. It kept you guessing. It was very intriguing, a very good premise. Maybe not the most original premise, but
It had you wondering.
it had you wondering.
So vague.
It had you guessing. I think the production was fucking phenomenal. It's very good cinematography, very very well produced. Like I keep raving on about the special effects. Really fucking well done.
And when you see like the pain scenes when she going through pain, it makes you feel it.
Yeah.
It's like
very
the
vibrant.
knee. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
The tooth.
That tendonitis came quick. It came back quick. I had to stand up. But it made me feel I was in it.
Oh yeah. Usually I don't squirm during a movie because I see like a lot of body horror movies. But those teeth falling out, that did it for me. I wasn't ready for it. And it's probably not that bad, but it's just the whole tooth just popping out and then just blood gushing everywhere. And it's just
Well, and then she immediately pulls one out like right after.
like two more.
Forcefully.
I noticed in the bathroom she didn't have no toothbrush.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't see that. But I did notice, like, while she was doing an interview, like, the Margaret Qualley version, I don't know if it was just, like, maybe the reflection or color grading or something like that, but I kept thinking, like, oh, her, like, the side of her teeth right there, like, kind of yellow. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Smoked a lot of cigarettes.
Oh, maybe. But, yeah, soundtrack was great. The acting, phenomenal. For all around, everyone in this was really fucking good. Really played.
I don't know about the black dude that was the talk show host. He was kind of cheesy.
I mean, that's what talk show hosts are, anyways.
Jimmy Kimmel was great.
Jimmy Kimmel is one cheesy motherfucker. He's cool, but he's pretty cheesy. Is he?
I don't know.
Wait a second. But yeah, I think you're supposed to be cheesy.
Yeah, like, I think it was his part of
and I think there was parts that were supposed to be cheesy, like that scene where they're all like, "Kill it! Kill it! It's a monster!"
Yeah.
Her fucking head growing back after he fucking. You know what else that reminded me of? Fucking RoboCop, man! With a meal, fucking.
Yes.
that was good effects, man. Like even back then, bro.
That
like,
whole movie. That's another one we'll probably cover someday. Fucking phenomenal.
Is it the same
one
one
of my
he shot him
favorite
in the
movies.
dick?
Yeah, first one he shoots the dude in the dick. I got a shirt that says that.
Oh my god, if I can't have a dick, no one can.
All right, and then plot-wise, I think the plot was really good. Like I
It definitely had a good flow.
I think script-wise, for sure, it was mesmerizing, honestly. Production-wise, and like I kept wanting to figure out like where is it going next. I kept wondering how the substance really works. The transformation scene, right when they did that, I was wondering how they were going to do that, and I was not disappointed because I did not expect that.
And like every time she tries something different or like pushes it, it's like, okay, so what is this gonna do?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like when she did extra serum or body or spinal fluid the first time, and then it shows what the effects of that was. I didn't expect that.
Yeah, not at all.
But yeah, very, very good story. Overall, I'd recommend this one. How about you, Sean? Yeah?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Cool. Any final thoughts on it?
No.
Yeah. So big thumb up.
Big
Two
thumb up.
thumbs
The
up.
symbolism was amazing.
And this last scene when she turned to the face thing going to the star,
Yes.
it kind of reminded me of the egg too at the same time too.
Yeah.
Cause like how it was moving, it was kind of egg yolky type movement.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
I expected her
Well,
to.
actually, now you think about it, it does look like the yolk, and
Yeah.
then she's like
yeah.
center.
The little embryo, yeah,
it
for
does.
sure.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. Well, how about you? Do you have any final thoughts? Or would you recommend it?
Oh yeah, I might watch it again.
Yeah.
A couple days down the line because I gotta heal from it. But I
I
love it. I love it.
Booty.
Like man, it was a lot of assets.
Sean, what was your favorite part?
I mean, probably the time lapse leading to the connection with the final star at the end. Honestly, the symbolism between that.
Wait, what?
So the star time lapse in the beginning,
That was your favorite part?
connecting to the ending with her sitting on
Okay.
the star.
Okay, cool.
The
Interesting.
symbolism was really really cool.
So, what was your favorite scene?
Probably the moment that she's coming out of her back.
For the first time?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that
the
got.
initial moment she takes this.
I wasn't ready for that myself either. Like, the way it happened, I expected a way different transformation.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Werewolf in London.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Not really,
Yeah.
because you seen the whole transformation.
Yeah.
Transformation. in
Because
Werewolf.
what is it? Is it Van Helsing that has where they actually shift?
Yes,
the
yeah,
skin?
Van Helsing, yeah.
It's more like that kind of werewolf transformation.
Yeah.
But the effects were on par. Okay, I wouldn't maybe say on par with Rick Baker's in American Werewolf in London.
Yeah, 'cause you seen the whole
Yeah,
transformation.
because in this it's a lot easier too. They mixed practical effects with CG. Rick Baker had no CG in 1981, baby.
Yeah, that was all.
That was all on camera, and it's still. I think that fucking holds up still. Still the best werewolf transformation
That werewolf was scary.
ever put to
Oh.
film. Yeah, really, really good. But I did get like when it first started, when like all her body parts were like shifting around and stuff moving underneath. It felt a lot like that part. They were sitting there looking at his hand like, oh,
And it
the
was
fucking
just,
hands
oh.
all grown.
You get the extendo go
Yeah.
hand, you know.
Oh, I could talk about that shit all fucking day. That whole scene, chef's kiss.
This movie kind of got a sense of Nutty Professor too, like.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
like-
Nutty Professor is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
like,
it
you
is,
know.
basically.
Yeah.
And the younger version was always.
Oh,
one that
the
fucked
skinny
up.
version, yeah.
Yeah.
Loving you is easy 'cause you're beautiful. Alright. Okay, D, what was your favorite part?
Man, I was thinking about that when you was asking Sean. I was
It's a lot.
It's a lot in there.
D, your favorite part?
It was so many good parts, man. I'm trying to think. Cause I know when you was asking Sean, I was trying to think. I'm like, man, it's so many. But I think maybe when she did her last transformation and the glimpse, like she kept glimpsing at herself, like, oh,
Yeah.
oh my God, damn when she started walking.
Super good.
Oh
See,
my
when
God.
she did that, I was all like, oh, she's gonna turn herself into Quado from Total Recall.
Yeah.
Just a fucking crazy midget thing coming out of her. Just, blow!
Or the brain thing from Psycho Gourmet.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But that scene was like, I wasn't expecting her to turn to
Yeah. The way they handled it, I think, was
Gosh.
really
It's
good.
definitely addressed really well.
Like, you don't expect it, and they just show a glimpse, and all three of us were like,
Oh
oh!
my God.
Holy shit!
I almost had a bowel movement. like somebody had a bowel movement when she came out. Like, oh my God. Diarrhea for days.
Oh my gosh.
What was your favorite scene?
Fantastic. It's very difficult because I love body horror. Body horror is one of my favorite genres. I'd have to say maybe not specifically that scene, but right after that scene where she's getting ready to go to the New Year's Eve show still, and then when she gets there, because it's just so off the fucking rails. When a movie just is all like, okay, so we've been on this roller coaster, this railroad track this whole time, and we're just going to jump the fuck off, you know?
Yeah, Final Destination.
That's what the fuck happened right there.
So like the amalgamation of the New Year's part, or like mostly the blood part?
The New Year's, the whole part, because I loved how like the dancers are sitting there like, and they don't notice that a fucking monster is standing right next to them. And you see, like, it gets a close-up on two of the dancers' faces, and they're, like, slowly side glancing, like, what the fuck? Wait a second. And it's just so random, insane, the amount of blood that, like, spews out of her arm at that point. Absolute batshit crazy.
Oh my god!
I think that was my favorite part, just because it like
that whole it was crazy.
It took a left turn, and I love it when a movie takes a left turn
after already doing like 2 left turns.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was all like, oh, you think we've been crazy so far? Get a load of this.
Oh yeah, the craziness came out.
What a twist!
What a twist!
And it was drinking a Red Bull.
All right. Yeah, right, for sure.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I'd recommend this one too. I'd recommend it, like I said, if you like body horror, if you like suspense, if you're not a fan of squishy, blobby things, you're not gonna like this.
Needles.
If you're not there's a lot of needle work in this.
Yeah.
There's a lot of just oddball special effects, a lot of interesting choices, which I think I like it when a movie takes risks.
Oh yes.
And this movie took a lot of risks.
Mm-hmm.
I like it when they try to show the craziest thing they could come up with the concept that they've thrown at you.
Yeah.
You know, stuff that you just wouldn't have expected. And I think this does all of that. I think this is a great movie. Before we saw this, Sean and Dee hadn't heard about this one. But I'm on a lot of horror forums online, and I'd been hearing nothing but good things about this one, and I figured that we should check it out, and I'm glad we did.
Absolutely.
And when Engage is right, gosh darn it, he right.
I try.
You've been right so far.
All right, guys. So that's gonna do it for us. I've Engage.
Big D.
Sean.
Have a good night. Thanks for watching.